So, to begin with Uranus, I should say I know I'm not done with Saturn yet. I still have a couple more placements to go. But I never want to do a video until it feels right, until I'm really inspired to do it, because otherwise it just never, works out. I've never forced a video and I have no intention of ever doing so. So, now that we are in the transpersonal planets, Saturn, it takes about 2 to 3 years to go through each sign, and so there's kind of like little mini generations with these planetary transits. Um, it is going to take a little bit longer. First, because I need to make sure I know my stuff and I research and get different perspectives and like make sure it makes sense to me in my life, and just hopefully that will go. It's worked so far. But also because I think there's a lot to gain from viewing these energies historically. Seeing Uranus and Aquarius, for example, in this recent 2 decades or so, when it was transiting in like late 90s, essentially. So seeing it from that perspective, but also the last cycle of Uranus and Aquarius, which is I think late 1700s, like 1790-ish or so. So I really want to research a lot of that because I think that's going to be really fun. I can't wait really to see generational things that we have in common with back throughout the ages, even just throughout the last couple 100 years. I think would be really fascinating. So it is going to take me a little bit longer to come up with videos, but I think they're going to be even better because I think there's going to be a lot more forethought and stuff. I mean, there's forethought for the other ones, but for this, I'm really excited for the work I'm going to be doing. So yeah, and the same thing with this. I'm sure I know I said in the Saturn video that I have a general goal of doing Saturn for Capricorn. Whoops. All right, whatever. Uranus for Aquarius. We're in Aquarius now, making this video. And then Neptune for Pisces, and then Pluto for Aries. So I'm going to start each of those series in those times for sure, because I know, I have a little bit to say at least for Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and whatever. But it's, again, it'll take me a while to finish each series. I want to make sure I do it really well done. So please be patient. If you're interested in those videos, please be patient. So, that being said, now let's focus on Uranus as a planet. This is really exciting. Saturn and Uranus are both the planets of the Aquarian Age, aka the planets of this new vibration that is happening within humanity, coming from a mental source, a scientific source, a humanitarian source, one that's interested in individuality, in freedom, and freedom of being, freedom of thought. Of course, not everyone, it should be said, and as we all very well know, not everyone enjoys these things, and especially these things to exist in the general public of freedom and being original and yada yada yada. I mean, a lot of social control. Well, we're all quite used to that, and I think that's what Pluto and Capricorn right now is making this video, and later Pluto and Aquarius is aiming to create is a truly I don't know. I mean, so many things really, but a society that serves the people more, that upholds liberties and makes society a better place. That's best for the individual and the whole, the collective, Totally lost my train of thought. But in any case, basically those are the themes of this planet. And, the themes of the age that we're going into, but also the themes of Uranus. And so where Uranus pops up in a chart says a lot about how a person is very eccentric, very unique. Uranus is a very interesting planet in how it influences us human beings. It's been said to influence both genius and innovation, creation, from everything from psychology to space exploration, and space, all physicists, or physics rather, all sorts of science. I mean, the whole scientific industrial revolution periods in our time were only reflections of this energy, of this region of space influencing us at this time, using Uranus as a conduit, right? So, what does this all mean? Where Uranus is in your chart, you are both different times of our lives. You know, we exercise both the lower orders of planetary placements, of vibrations, of energies, and also the higher form. You know, we have that opportunity to really embrace ourselves, embrace who we are, embrace other people, just be happy and be as fulfilled as possible. Um, Expressing our genius in the world. That is the highest form of Uranus. And the lowest is going insane, you know, mental illness and whatnot. Because, you know, Uranian energies, everybody is a genius. As I think it was Albert Einstein who said, everybody's a genius, but if a fish goes judging themselves based off of their ability to climb a tree, the fish is going to think they're stupid the entire life. And that's true for everyone. You know, I read so many charts all day, every day, and do so many readings for people with tarot and whatnot. And, you know, it's amazing how every single person has their own perspective and their own purpose in life. And how, I mean, truly, we all are good. We want good things for ourselves and for each other. There's just so much confusion because there's so much communication blockage, and there's also a lot of psychological blockage of people, where they block who they really need to be for whatever reason, usually fear or prejudice, which is fear, really. And then they try and block other people from exercising their uniqueness, their originality, their self. They can't even appreciate that in another person because they can't appreciate it in them. Uranus is a very strange energy. It's very powerful, certainly. Out of the planets in our solar system, I believe it is the third largest. It's either third or fourth. It and Neptune are really similar in size. But it's a really huge planet. And even being so far away from us on Earth, I definitely, studying this planet and studying it in charts and seeing it in myself, I definitely value what this planet has to offer, and I value what studying it has to offer. So, yeah. So, now, if Uranus is... Oh, Uranus takes about 8 years, by the way, to transit a sign. And so if Uranus is in a Earth sign, that's where mine is, doubly so actually. Mine is Uranus in Capricorn in the house of Virgo. Fun. Uranus in Virgo, those born in the 60s, I believe, had this energy. Uranus in Taurus, that was like pre-World War II, and actually led to a lot of what World War II was all about, which is, you know, well, we'll get there. But certainly there was a conjunction of Uranus and Taurus with Adolf Hitler's energies, and there we definitely saw the madness of Uranus come forth, for sure. So that'll be interesting to delve into. And then we're about to go into Uranus and Taurus, I think in like 7 years or so. But if it's in an Earth sign, I find, with my personal experience, that Uranus has shaken me up. Where we find it in our chart very much is about what's shaken up. Right, so for me, the earth element has always been a really hard element to figure out in my life. Money, solidity, stability. I've been wonderful on all the other planes because I have so much fucking fire, water, and air, right, in my chart. But earth, I am notoriously lacking. And what's more, I have Uranus in Capricorn. And so I find that Uranus in an Earth sign really shakes things up as per stability, but it also leads, again, Uranus is all about genius, and it's shaken up for a good reason, because there's another way to go about it, not the regular routine way. And so I find, speaking for all of the Uranus and Earth energies, as well as I can anyways, that Uranus really gives us incredible genius as per practical things, like society, laws, institutions, our bodies, daily life. We just kind of think of the practical world, the solid world, I think, a little bit differently. And because that's Uranus's game, wherever Uranus is, there's that little spark of genius, but also kind of madness, like Jekyll and Hyde almost, So that's my experience with the Earth, Uranus. Uranus and fire, Leo, those born in the last part of the 50s, and actually pretty much all throughout the 50s, for the most part, I think, maybe like 55 or something, I don't know. But, and I think the first part of the 60s too, yeah. Uranus and Leo. Then we got Uranus and Sag, that was the 80s, basically. At least the first part of the 80s, as far as I remember. And then Uranus in Aries. Oh, right, that's where we're in right now. And the last time was like 1928-ish. So it's very interesting, these people's originality and individuality. I think all four of my parental figures are Uranus and Leo. And I love that generation's craziness as per their uniqueness. They're all so firmly Leo, no matter what their sun, Mercury, whatever. Their genius comes through their Leo. You know, their creativity, their power, their charisma. It's really funny. Again, that entire generation, you know, friends, parents as well, and I have friends of that generation, plenty, that are just so, whether, you know, Uranus and Leo, Uranus and Sag, or Uranus and Aries, that they're so just intent on being themselves. I mean, hell, little Meow Meow is fire Uranus, and I'm always just kind of struck in really funny, curious ways, and also sometimes like, oh, why are they being so crazy? As per their originality, their self. You know, fire is the ego principle, right? That's power through the self. I. You know, everything starts from this perspective where it begins. And even if we're all united, we all have our individual flame, right? So I think that's the best and the most challenging aspect of fire Uranus, is having such genius and having such this like amazing perspective, unique, even eccentric, which isn't a bad thing. Eccentricity is a beautiful thing, you know, as long as it's peaceful, of course, and tolerant of other people. Awesome. Be as eccentric as you like. I think that's the point of Uranus, is to be as eccentric as we like, and this age that we're going into, I think, is going to accelerate that even more so. And the more that we do that, we accelerate the age, and it'll just be this awesome individuality fest, you know? Kind of like in Hunger Games, how everyone in the first district, I think it's called, is like incredibly, you know, well dressed and not even so much the well dressed part, the individual part, you know, just like crazy bombastic, but incredible creativity and individuality is able to be expressed there. And I feel like that's exactly where we are and where we're going more and more so each day. So those with Uranus and fire are leading that charge, which is cool. You know, just their creativity, however outlandish and crazy it seems, their creativity in themselves is very genius. Yeah. So on to water. Cancer, that's early 50s, late 40s. Uranus in Pisces. We just went through that, I guess. So since 2003-ish, something like that. And we're in Aries now, so I think that started like a couple years ago. So late part of the 2000s. And then Uranus in Scorpio, which was the late 70s, I want to say maybe, yeah, late 70s seems right. So these signs are very interesting. It shows that there's genius, right, with these people's emotional sides. And they express it so differently, though. I don't know how to find that common thread between them. Well, in any case, introspection for these energies, as always, with any water placement, is going to be incredible. And their genius will come from those quiet, alone times when they're just reflecting. You know, they're being introspective. And they're trying to sort through emotions. I mean, in general, their genius comes from their emotions. And their ability, I think that's the biggest thing to see, is their ability with their emotions. To really make sense of some of the crazy things that they're feeling, and how it's you know, not crazy at all, it's edifying. Yeah, I think great psychological breakthroughs will definitely come from these people with these Uranuses, just because of their keen insight into our water dimension of ourselves, the subjective, the emotional, the irrational. And it's good to be irrational too. It's good to have that balance of rational and irrational. Alright, and then the last one is air Uranus. Aquarius, of course. Uranus ruling Aquarius. Gemini, which was like basically the Beatles when they were born. I think that was like 43-ish. So right before the 50s, so like 40s, okay, late 40s, mid 40s at least. And then sometime in the future, maybe like 20 years or so from now, and then Libra, Uranus and Libra, that was pretty recent. I think that was early 70s, late 60s. That seems right. Maybe more so early 70s, I'm not sure. But for these people, I mean, they're geniuses through their ideas, their communications with people, their ability to understand things in an abstract way and to make connections, to see patterns. And their genius comes through people, interacting with people. You know, even Uranus and Aquarius, that amazing energy, need other people to bounce their genius off of. It's just the natural principle of air, of interconnectivity. Air needs to flow, you know, it needs to experience different climes, it needs to experience different pressures, you know, different, literally, with different people. Even if just for a couple instants. And so that'll be really important for those with these energies. And also these people will make incredible genius innovations and discoveries forward. Air Uranus, oh my god, there's been so much progress made in recent times, you know, in the realm of relationships. Thankfully, you know, thanks in large part, to those with Uranus and Libra, who've been able to have genius approaches to dealing with relationships and how they're perceived and what they are and what they're not, and balancing them out and having it healthy and harmonious. And I am, again, super excited. I've said in a couple of videos about Uranus and Aquarius's impact on the world. They're, again, born in the late 1990s, and me being Capricorn, I see the ground being set for their incredible work in the next couple of decades that really propels humanity forward. So I'm excited to be seeing that and helping in whatever way I can. And I mean, hell, dude, the Beatles, you know, I mean, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Uranus and Gemini has been incredible for communications. And in those times, and we'll go into it in more depth in the video, but in those times, so much communication genius was being poured out onto the earth, you could say, you know, and nothing was ever the same. I think that sums up this planet's energy very well. Nothing was ever the same after Uranus is involved. It's better, it's evolved, it's on to the next step. And Uranus is always about that next step, where how to be progressive in all senses of the word. So, let us start this journey, even though the last one is not done. I'm such a Gemini. I'll do it eventually, I promise you. I really will. I'll finish all of these planetary things. I just, you know, I can't rush it. It's art, you know? As much as I might try and kid myself and well, no, it's true. It's science and it's other stuff as well. But this is very much art, these videos. I want to make sure I do them right. So, namaste.